G'day, ZiggyD here, back with another Path of Exile farming guide. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through a Lunaris Temple 3 run and finishing up with the Piety kill. Now, this is probably the final run that you'll be doing before maps, and depending on your build and depending on how you like to play, you might actually be skipping this run entirely and just going straight from docks to maps. Now, I've covered docks in a recent video, so go check that out and I'll link it in the description below. But Lunaris Temple is a great place to farm if you are trying to, really build up that experience and currency outside of the map system, and maybe trying to build up your map pool as well. Most of the time you will be doing it with a group because it is a fair bit more dangerous than docks, though that said, it is a fair bit more rewarding. So let's get straight into it, and I'll be giving you guys a rundown of just how you run through the zone, a few tips, and also I'll be pointing out each of the different types of mobs and basically how they can kill you. So we'll just head straight into this and start clearing it out. Now, we're currently in Lunaris Temple 2, which is where you'll spawn with the waypoint. Now, somewhere on this in this zone is Cole, and I believe this is the particular area with him. So if you come into this room that is looks a bit like this now, we're just going to avoid dying from Cole because he's very dangerous. Looks a bit like this, and it has this upward stair location. If your map happens to spawn you going through that, I tend to go up around behind and just completely avoid Cole. Now, some people do gear themselves up and specifically form parties to farm coal, and that's fine if you're aware of that fact and you're geared up for that. Then that's fine to go ahead and farming. But for most people, coal is very dangerous character to fight. It does a lot of damage in really big hits. So even my character, which is pretty reasonably tanky and can take most forms of physical damage, coal just really cuts through that armor. So that's pretty brutal. So I tend to skip him. Not really worth taking the time it takes to kill. So, let's start breaking down some of these mobs. The first guys we have are the Piety's Miscreations. Now, these guys themselves, the basic versions of these, are just, melee damage. They do a bit of damage per hit, but it's not major if you have a bit of physical mitigation. So we'll just go ahead and kill these guys. But they are the next variant, which he was around here somewhere. Okay, we've got two here. We've got these guys here with the flaming hands. These are the Burned Miscreations, and these guys cast unrighteous fire. Now, this is very, very dangerous if you have low fire resist. If you've ever tried to do a Lunaris run with under-capped, not capped fire resist, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But basically, these guys do an area of effect degen around them, and as you can see, as I'm burning now, without them even touching me, just me being in their general area, that really shows you the damage it takes. And I do have 77% fire resist, so we'll go ahead and kill these guys and get rid of those. But yeah, they're just dangerous for that degen effect. And when there's that there and you're taking other forms of damage, that's pretty dangerous. Now, these Drenched Miscreations cast Arctic Armor. Now, this guy doesn't currently have Arctic Armor cast, but when they do, like this guy here might cast it. No, it looks like they're not going to. But basically, they use the same aura that you can use, and it just slows you down if you're in that area of effect. It also reduces the damage they take if you do like a quick but low damage attack, physical attack, or fire attack. So there we go. We've got this guy here. Now, this does slow you down quite a lot. So if you're trying to attack those guys and you're in that, just be aware of that because it can slow you down, especially if you're trying to also escape from some of the unrighteous fire ones. Now, there is one final variant of these guys, and here you can see is the ones with kind of the lightning hands, essentially. Now, as you can see, these guys use Lightning Warp, and Lightning Warp hits pretty hard, but more importantly, it can shock stack you. And combined with being shock stack and taking damage from a bunch of the other different types, that is pretty bad. It's a recipe for disaster. So you want to avoid both ends of that Lightning Warp, essentially. You want to avoid when they first cast it, so you don't stand next to them when they're about to Lightning Warp, and you want to also avoid where it ends up, which is a bit easier because you can see that little area of effect indicator before that happens. So that pretty much covers all of those guys. And now we have a couple of other different types of mobs as well. This one here, the Tentacle Miscreation. Now, these guys have another name that they are often frequently named by, but I'm not going to repeat that in this particular video because it is crude. It is crude. So we'll just go ahead and kill these guys and try not to blow up the Tentacle Miscreation. But these fire out a very rapidly hitting fire damage based also ranged attack. Now, if you have Ondar's Guile, then these are not a problem for you because you can just evade them, and that's great to be able to just stand there. But for everyone else, these are extremely dangerous. Now, I have fairly high armor, but as you can see, it still does a lot of damage per volley. The good thing is, once they start firing, you can move to either side, and they won't hit you, so you can do that. But if there's multiple of these guys, and you get caught in the crossfire of them, you can be down very, very quickly. Now, one way to help out with this is to simply pop a granite fast. That helps out a lot. Gets rid of the physical aspect of that because it's a fast hitting sort of attack. That'll help a lot with that. So I think that covers all of these guys. The other ones we've got here, which these are only on the level 2 area, I believe. I don't believe they're in level 3, these mortality ones. Now, the main danger of these guys is that they can cast Corpse Explosion on any mobs that are left over. Now, since I blow up all of my mobs with Infernal Blow, except for when they're desyncing, that's not a problem for me. But if you're a character that doesn't blow up and leaves corpses around, those Corpse Explosions can hurt quite a bit, so just be careful of that. So I think that covers most of the guys on this particular level. So we're gonna scoot through the rest of this way and try and find the exit. Now, you pretty much have to head out either left or right from that first starting zone where that waypoint is, and it's kind of just luck based. I haven't really found any consistent ways to find this out. So as you can see, this time I found Lunaris Temple 1, the stairs to Lunaris Temple 1. This isn't ideal. You want to try and get to Lunaris Temple 3, but as I said, there's no real way to know. So if I do go to Lunaris Temple 1, if I do get this pair of stairs, instead of just working my way back through zones I've already cleared, try to keep it as efficient as possible and actually enter level 1 and then just simply control click and start a new instance. At least that way you're guaranteed going in the right direction, and you're also clearing mobs again, so you're not retreading trodden path, and you're keeping that farming efficient. That's just something I like to do, and it's a bit of an efficiency tip. Overall, most of the time though, you're going to be trying to skip over Lunaris Temple 2 as much as possible because it doesn't have that that really optimal experience. You're going to be getting that from level 3. But if there's large packs like these guys here, you can just clear those out as you go through and get that extra experience. So we've got the waypoint here, and it looks like we're going to be able to head through coal again, go through this doorway, and find the exit to Lunaris Temple 3. So I'll probably cut forwards to that because you guys don't need to see me just farming these particular mobs. I've pretty much covered these guys. One other mob type in here is the Blood Elementals, but these are really a non-issue. Most of the time you probably won't even be fighting those because they tend to spawn as you run through areas, and because they're kind of spread out a bit, we'll just avoid Cole and head around the backside of him. Because they tend to spread out quite a bit, it's often not worth sticking around and waiting for them to spawn and just skipping those guys for to really max out that efficiency as much as possible. So we'll head through here, and it looks like we now have stuck on a pole the exit to Lunaris Temple 3. So we'll go ahead and jump straight into there and continue our run. Now, this is the main section of this particular farming run because this is where you're going to be getting most of the experience. You just want to head straight down either one of these stairs, and after you do that, you see that there's another staircase there, so either one is fine to start with because it is randomized. You pretty much want to be looking for another upstairs, essentially. So I'm going to head as far as I can to the outside of this particular area. So it kind of spawns in you have this section here, and you'll have staircases around somewhere around the outside. So we're going to try and find those. We're just going to blow up the large packs as we go. It's the way I like to do it as melee, but maybe if you're... Oh, as you can see, those tentacle miscreations do hit very hard, especially when you're, surrounded by other mobs as well and taking other forms of damage. It can be quite dangerous, especially if you tend to get stunned quite a lot, so that's pretty dangerous. But, as I said, my character's reasonably tanky, and I can get through here pretty easily. So just clear out these guys, and as you can see, even now, I'm like almost level 80, level 79, I think I am, and still getting pretty good experience from here. Great, we've come across Spinecrack. I was hoping that would be the case. Now, this one here looks like these whipping miscreations that you'll also encounter, but she's got a darker skin and the red hair there, so she kind of stands out a little bit, but often she can be hard to spot when she's mixed in with other mobs, and this is a bit unfortunate because she's very dangerous. She uses Lightning Strike, and as you can see, it does a lot of damage. However, the good thing about her is that she doesn't have much life, so essentially if you can get her and you can get a stun like this, you can kill her off pretty quickly, and she'll often have some good loot since she does count as a unique mob for this particular zone. But as I said, that does a lot of damage, and if you're not expecting her, as in if she's surrounded by a bunch of other different mobs, like say she's around a few of these guys, these whipping miscreations, which don't deal the lightning strike, these guys, they do however cast vulnerability on hit, which is pretty dangerous. It's going to be taking more damage again, so just try and pay attention for her, and she spawns randomly too. Sometimes she'll be somewhere in this lower section, sometimes she'll be up the first or second set of stairs as well, so you kind of have to just just keep an eye out for her as you're running. Now it looks like we've reached a bit of a dead end here, so I'm just gonna leap slam my way out. I'm not going to be doing a full clear of here at all. Now generally you're going to be looking for these stairs constantly, but you know, just follow the large packs and kill the large packs as you head through. And you know, you'll be getting that experience and currency drops pretty good. So we've found the first set of stairs, and this takes us up to kind of the second little tier of this particular zone. Now this will loop around and there'll be another downstairs. You don't want to go downstairs. Instead you want to look for kind of an exit. So we're going to be looking on the map here and leap slamming our way around. And we're going to be looking for an exit that heads kind of off of this main path. So this could be, this one here looks like it might be it. And we'll head along here, and we'll see if it's either left or right. Yeah, it looks like we've found the right direction here. We've found another upstairs. If you come to another downstairs, you can either loop around, or you can simply go back the way you came and try and find that that little exit route there to try and find this next particular zone. Look at all these mod packs. As you can see, the density in here is just insane. It's a really, really good zone for experience. And loot drops as well. You're getting reasonably high level loot. As you can see, this is a level 68 zone, so you're actually able to get decent eye level stuff outside of maps. If you're farming docks, you're only getting level 66 to level 68 drops, but if you're farming this zone, you're getting level 68 to level 70 drops, and eye level 70 drops are, you know, are pretty good. They can be quite good, and it's a great way to gear up for docks. Now, if you come across this little arrangement of carts here, you know you've gone the wrong way. You cannot get your way through there. So instead, we just head in the other direction here, and we're kind of in the last little section now before we actually get to Piety. So there's kind of this little prison zone here. We're just going to clear our way through. I'm just going to skip even the rare mobs at the moment, just for showing off this particular farming run. And we'll head through. You can grab those. Whoa, desyncing, not good. There we go. We'll blow up some of these guys, refresh my fast charges, and keep myself alive. Ooh, faster projectiles, 6%. Okay, so we have the first doorway, and this is, you know you're going in the right direction if you come across these big golden doors. And you can leap slam through these guys. That's a nice little tip. It also works with lightning warp as well, but not whirling blades, unfortunately. Now, you'll start coming to these prison zones, and there'll often be large packs of mobs in here. If you have leap slam or lightning warp, which most characters should have at least one of those, you can simply use one of those skills to jump through them without having to worry about the doors. And you can even do a lot of shortcuts and pretty much jump between all of these zones. Now we're looking for another set of golden doors, so we've reached a dead end here. So we need to go back down and go around to the right, I believe. So we just leap through these guys. It's pretty good. Nice way to speed through, and you can also just farm these packs in these actual, because they tend to be nicely clumped up. Oh, health is really dropping nasty there. Usually I'd be much more safer doing this, but we leap through the second set of doors. There's usually a few packs in here as well down the bottom, and then we want to leap up to this other little set of doors here. You can leap slam through the door here, but not through the edges, so try not to get caught on that. And there'll be a few packs around here as well. And if we go up to this final one, there's often a pack of blues either to the left or right here, or sometimes they all get clustered up the top here. So there's always these guys to kill off at least, so it's worth finishing your run here. Now, to go on to Piety or not to go on to Piety. Most parties will not go and farm Piety. Most people that are farming Piety are simply doing it for the drops, and they're running Culling Strike. They're like playing like a Sporker with lots of Magic Find, and you know, you'll probably know if you want to be farming Piety or not. But just for the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and jump into Piety. This will slow down your experience income, but it can give you a nice amount of extra drops, especially if you are running that Magic Find. Now, the first tip is to kill off the blue ones, especially because that is her ice form, which will launch those ice arrows, and that's very dangerous. Now, she's in her fire form. Now, I just want to say, if you have enough run speed, which I do not on this character because my run speed, as you can see, is very slow, you can simply just run away from her when she's in her fire form. And I think it's if you have like base move speed, or maybe +5 or +10%, you will not ever get hit by her. So that's a nice, easy way to avoid her. But if you're a reasonably tanky character, I think most characters by endgame can tank that form just fine. Now, we'll actually let her get into ice form, if possible, just for demonstration purposes. As you can see, every now and then she'll spawn these mobs here, and that's a great way to get your flask charges back, or to get endurance charges, or any of that sort of jazz if you need extra mobs like that. It's a nice little addition. Thank you, Piety. It's very handy. So we'll go ahead and damage her a little bit. And now you do want to... So essentially, after she finishes either her ice or fire form, she'll be stunned, and you can wail on her then. And if you're a party, that's a good time to wail on her. But when she's actually... There we go, there's her ice form. To avoid an ice form, if you haven't done this fight yet or you have a lot of problems with this fight, you simply want to get behind one of these poles and keep an eye on her. And then, you know, once she transforms out of that form again, you want to start wailing on her again. Now, if your lightning resistance isn't up to spec, then you don't really want to tank her when she's not stunned, essentially. So when she goes back into this form, she'll start casting her lightning balls, especially are dangerous. And also, you know, you can get shock stacked pretty quickly from a different lightning attack, so you want to be careful of those. But if you're playing this very safe, you just wait until she gets stunned after finishing her form, attack her a few times, then back out. And you know, if you can attack her in fire form or any of that sort of thing, then you can finish her off. And hopefully we'll be able to finish her off here, just getting a little bit of out of mana there. And there we go. We only got 2 rares this time, but even without any increased rarity on this character, I'll often get like 4 or 5 rares from that. I believe she also has a dedicated map slot as well. That's a recent addition, so which is a great way to add on if you're doing that anyway, and you know, get a few extra level 66 maps. Anyway, hopefully you guys found this helpful. This is a pretty good run to do with a good group, or if you're getting into endgame, you know, you want a bit of a break from maps, it's a nice one just to sort of speedrun. I enjoy speedrunning it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.